So enough of talk regarding play. Now we are going to go to the most exciting part, which is what is your role as a parent or caregiver in play. Hi everyone, welcome to my segment of play. I am very excited for this episode because we are going to discuss how we as parents and caregivers can redefine our roles in play. Now, you have 3 roles. You can either choose one of them or you can be a combination of all 3. The most important thing is you have to be patient, you have to be open-minded, and you have to be present in your interaction with your child. So one role is the role of a planner. In this role, you arrange the surroundings and you organize it for your child. So for example, you organize an area in your house for messy play with slime, with water beads, or with clay. Another area you can arrange for art where you have paints and brushes. If it is outside, you can have another area for sand play and water play area or climbing area. So as a planner, you're organizing and you're setting the stage for your child to play. The second one is that of a supporter. In this role, you are supporting the views and opinions of your child. You're an active listener and you respect their choices of play. You keep them safe and away from harm. The next role is that of a reviewer. As a reviewer, you are observing the child. You are trying to know the likes and the dislikes of your child. One way to do it is by taking pictures, taking videos, being observant regarding what they're interested towards. This helps you to plan better for play with your child. Now, let's get on to some big ideas for playing with children. First one, follow their lead. Even in language and communication, this is the principle that we follow, following the child's lead, and the same goes for play as well. Children are wired to learn through play. So trust them and follow their lead. How does following their lead look like? It means to completely keep your agenda out of view and to follow the child's agenda. So for example, if you got a new toy at home, and this has happened to me as well, I got a new toy at home and I was constantly trying to get my daughter to play with the toy that I bought because I felt that toy would instill imagination, instill creativity, but my daughter was just not interested. All she was interested was in a piece of tissue paper or the remote control or a spoon. However, I decided to put my agenda out of line and I followed her agenda. I followed her in her play. So that is how you need to follow the child's lead. And it's not easy. It takes practice and it takes patience. Practice. Letting children take the lead takes a lot of practice from our side because we are constantly trying to get things right for them and they are constantly pushing back. So 4 things that you need to follow while you're letting your child take the lead is, the first one is task. Let the children select the kind of activities they want to do because it helps them with problem solving and it brings on their imagination and creativity. Time. Give children time to settle down and to understand the concept. We should always be working on kid time rather than our time. Technique. Let the children choose the kind of techniques or the ways that they want to play the game. Again, it helps with creativity, it helps with problem solving, and it helps with imagination. Of course, you have to be mindful of the way they want to play, and you can talk and negotiate with them during that time. Team. Let's face it, we are all happy when we are working with a team that you're happy to be around, that you like to be engaged in. So let your child choose a team that he or she is comfortable with at the beginning. Trust. Letting children take lead requires a lot of trust from us. We have to trust that children are wired to learn through play. They are thoughtful, they are able and eager learners that can learn through play. So we have to trust the process and we have to be patient. Nurture. Provide a safe, secure and loving environment for children to play. Children who feel safe, who feel happy, they engage better and they learn better through play. So it is important that we provide a nurturing environment for play. Know your child. Observe your child. Be a reviewer. When you know your child's likes and dislikes, you can bring it into play and you can enjoy it with them. Prepare for cleanup. This is very important because as much as mess creates a havoc in the child and in the adults, it is important that we prepare for cleanup before we start playing. So for example, if we are going to play with slime, with clay or with water beads, it is important that you have a bucket or set of tissues or water ready by the side so that while we finish playing the game, we can engage the child in the process of cleaning up and it just makes things easier. As you can see, play is such an important facet of a child's life. Play is purposeful and purposeless. Any concept that is difficult to teach or grasp should be taught through play. Play is the occupation of childhood. So, as Albert Einstein rightly said, play is the highest form of research. If you haven't seen my first video about play, please click here. If you want to see more content like this and many more, please subscribe to my channel. If you like the video, please like it. I would love to hear your feedback, so please comment on it. Thank you very much for watching.